As most of you will already know by now, NHS workers were offered a staggering 1% pay rise recently, which rightly so made them all very angry. Now I know some people will say that they don't deserve a pay rise, as the majority of them haven't done any more this past year than in previous years. But doctors and nurses, including ambulance staff, along with firefighters, do far more for people than the police do. But let's face it, firefighters, doctors and nurses don't use discretion as to who to treat. If someone needs their help, they'll help, rather than deciding on whether it will help with their statistics. And so I personally think that out of all the emergency services, they should be paid better. Anyway, the disgust felt by those in the sector led Karen Reisman, a mental health worker, a professional needed more than ever at the moment, to organise a protest in Manchester to showcase their anger over the government's offer. The event was said in mainstream media to have been socially distanced and risk assessed, and was held in St Peter's Square on Sunday the 7th of March and lasted just 10 minutes. It's a big disappointment that they only held out for 10 minutes. Such a short-lived gathering is unlikely to grab the attention of the government, but I guess it's better than nothing. But even though the event was socially distanced and risk assessed, police still issued 61-year-old Reisman with a £10,000 fixed penalty notice for her part in organising the gathering. Now it's important to note that although it's frightening to get a £10,000 penalty, based on the Bill of Rights, any excessive fine or forfeiture is unlawful, and a £10,000 penalty for voicing your opinion about the government is the very definition of an excessive fine, therefore making it unlawful. The other thing to note is that under the same Bill of Rights is that when protesting the government, it's not a protest, it's a petition, and under the Act, prosecutions for such petitioning are illegal. But then again, when have the police ever worried about their actions being illegal? Which is proven when you hear that Assistant Chief Constable Nick Bailey has stood by the decision, stating that the fine appears to be appropriate in the circumstances. However, the penalty is now going through an additional review process after Greater Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham intervened, with lawyers also reviewing a decision by Greater Manchester Police, and will be sending their response to Burnham themselves. A Greater Manchester Police spokesperson said, "All of our £10,000 fixed penalty notices are reviewed before processing, so as well as this initial review, we will review both the command decisions to ensure that they were proportionate and commensurate with the strategy and previous operations. In addition, we have asked for this to be reviewed by our legal department and provide a response back to the Mayor as to whether this was an appropriate course of action by Greater Manchester Police. Current legislation says it's illegal to gather. However, it's not. If it was illegal to gather, then shoppers standing in a queue would be at risk. Shoppers inside a store, all shopping, as in all there for the same purpose, would be at risk. And police, who are, as always, still gathering in droves, which is the collective term for a group of pigs. Now, what strikes me is that police approached Karen to tell her the gathering was illegal and couldn't go ahead. Karen then passed the message on to others who had gathered and told them, although she disagreed, she had no choice but to comply. In other words, she did what the police asked. But yet after people started to disperse, Karen was then told that she was being issued with the penalty notice. Which goes to show that the police are not your friend, and even if you comply with them, they will still stitch you up. Karen is planning to contest the fine and denies that it was issued due to a degree of non-compliance, which is what Greater Manchester Police claims. She said, "I complied with the order when it was made clear. When the sergeant said it couldn't go ahead, at that point I came and shut it down. At first the officers were just asking us what we were doing and seemed supportive. Then they came back and said the sergeant says it's illegal and you can't do it. I spoke to him on the phone and explained why I thought it was safe and that there wasn't a problem, and he said he would speak to Silver Command. Then they came back and said Silver Command says no way, you've got to shut it down, and that's when we went over and shut it down. I don't really understand what was uncooperative." A fundraiser launched by Karen's supporters has already raised more than £17,000 to pay her fine. And if you want to help with that, the link is in the description. Bear in mind that she may well need to pay a brief to fight this for her on her behalf. Very big thank you to channel supporters, especially these guys. Your support is truly appreciated. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, as I know many of you will. And of course, until next time, stay safe, look after each other, film the police and other officials.